Yeah, man. And it's, it's just about me trying to put on like really cool shows and
Experience.
exactly experience and just doing really cool events with like good people that I like working with. And it's got to the point where, you know how it is, like, you work for other people for so long and then you kind of find your passion and what you want to do. And like, all right, I'm just going to do things that feel good and feel right. And then I can believe in. And, I guess that's kind of the mission statement
I love it,
for
dude.
it. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And we should stop calling them shows and just call them experiences.
Yeah, man.
And, you know, with a little ingenuity and a little entrepreneurship, you got it.
Yeah.
So you got what? So you got tastings?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, when can I come to those?
Man, we can anytime, like, you just come over to the house and we'll just set something up. We'll just set something up,
Up to the house?
Yeah, yeah. Like for you, for sure.
Okay.
No, but I do private courses and
Private courses.
and like cocktail classes. I do consulting with bars around town.
Okay.
I set up the experiences, like you said, which is really nice.
Okay, yeah. We got to do
and,
one of those together.
yeah, man. We'll do some cool stuff together.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Which is funny because we met at the West End when you were performing, right?
We did.
Yeah, we're talking about the West End a little bit, and that's the Great Southern Whiskey Bar is a place that R.I.P. But it's we both had really good experiences there.
I did for sure.
Yeah. We always liked whenever you came to play because you brought in a crowd.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. People liked it, and sometimes you did solo, sometimes you did with
a band.
with a band, which is really fun. Do you have a preference, playing solo or playing with a band or with a DJ? Sometimes I saw that you do.
Yeah, I think that they each have their own benefit to me. Like playing with a band is the synergy that you get playing with other people that you can't get playing with a track.
Yeah.
You can go places that you don't usually go, and it's like having conversations with people. So playing with a track, well, first of all, from the money standpoint, is better because you don't have to pay nobody but yourself.
And it's probably easier. You can just go in and do your thing, and
you don't
it's
have to
completely up to
worry.
you.
No logistics. Make sure you get here on time and time to break, and make sure you get paid, and
Yeah.
you just come in, do your thing, and then tear it down. But like those are the times where I practice. Like with my dad is a musician,
Uh-huh.
and he's the one who taught me everything I know about music. But he called it paid practice. So when you see me at the West End, when I'm playing to my tracks, I'm playing, but I'm testing, and I'm experimenting, and I'm practicing. Like, because once you get to a certain point, like, with your bartending, they don't know when you get to a certain level, they're like, oh, that sounds amazing. Oh, that tastes so good. But they don't know that, you're just like fooling around right now. Like, you're giving them your best that you got, but you're experimenting within the bounds of a song or whatever, or of a certain type of drink. So, and then playing with a DJ is the same thing. It's a synergy between me and the DJ. So it's pretty three different experiences. I can't say one's better than the other, but I can say right now in this season, playing with tracks seems to be the move because of the monetary reasons. But when we talk about experience, I think playing with a band provides more of a experience for listeners.
And for those that are watching this right now, talk a little bit about like specifically what it is that you do musically. So you're talking about playing with tracks.
Mm-hmm.
You do the real deal of what, and this is something I wanted to talk to you about.
Mm-hmm.
In this day and age, you go around to like Target or to Kroger or whatever it is, and you see these people out there pretending to play the violin and all these over these like hip hop tracks and stuff like that and pop music. The fact of the matter is, a lot of times they're not really playing.
Mm-mm.
So you're the real deal. That's what you do.
That's what I do.
And I kind of, since we first started talking about getting you on the show, I want to know how you feel about that.
Yo, I saw it. I saw it at Giant Eagle one time because it was on the news, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But this dude had his wife, and his kid out there For real. And they had a sign talking about they're, in need or whatever. And I knew that he was faking it because his bow was not going in the same direction as the music.
Because you would know.
I would
they
know.
They can fool a lot of us.
They can fool a lot
you
of
can
you.
You're like, no, that's not
That's not what it was. It's not legit. And people were like, oh my God, that's so good. I'm like, I put him on Instagram. I'm like, yo, I'm exposing this dude. This is not real.
Good for you.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's, but hey, I respect the hustle.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. I feel kind of taken advantage of a little bit because I used to be like, wow, they're so good. And I'd go throw them like a 5 or something, and then I found out that almost everybody doing that. I can't say everybody, but like, I don't think there's too much, legitimacy to what they're doing out there. I think a lot of them are faking. And I don't see too many of them anymore lately because I think since a lot of people have been exposed doing that, on the news. They know. Mm-hmm. I always kind of wanted to go up and be like, all right, turn off your music and play something.
I had not heard of that until just now.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. So
that sucks.
So you like at all the stores, all like the supermarket areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you'll see sometimes it's a little kid and out there playing, and he'll be playing over like Jay-Z or Black Eyed Peas or whatever it may be. And I'm like, it's like, oh my God, it's like a backing track, right? It's amazing. Look at him go.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost always little kids, it seems like, right? Or no?
I only saw a grown man.
Okay, I see a lot of like 10 to 15-year-old kids doing it. Almost always, at least what I've seen. And it's like, and they've been
respect it.
You respect it, but you're like,
if they had the wherewithal to be able to fool a couple people, I respect it.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. So, but they've been exposed recently, and a lot of people like Stephen here just have been kind of putting them on social like, yeah, this isn't real. Huh. They're not really playing because it's just like the violin is with the track.
Mm-hmm. And it's mostly this same one dude, Josh Vietti or Josh Vizzuti, something like that, some Italian name. But
it's here in Columbus.
No, he's not here in Columbus.
Okay,
but he's like that one dude that everybody's been shadowing his music. That guy, Josh, the violinist, Josh Vietti or something like that.
Okay.
Really good.
He's the one that they're.
He's the one, yeah.
Okay. Well, what are I know you do that style.
Yeah.
But you do like a lot of classical stuff as well. I've seen you do in the past. And
yeah, I have.
What's your favorite like kind of music to play?
So I grew up on Stevie, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye, shaking his head, like,
mm-hmm.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
But I also grew up on hip hop, like 50 Cent, Lupe Fiasco, Pharrell Williams, Timberland, and Missy Elliott. I think that Timberland and Pharrell, that kind of early 2000s, late 90s musical thing with Missy Elliott, like, that's legendary stuff right there.
Yeah.
That was kind of my jam. So I always tell people that classical is only like 20% of who I am. And when I was growing up, I came late to the classical scene. I had never been exposed to it because it was intimidating, meaning that, I know how a Stevie Wonder song goes where you have a singer, a keyboard, an organ, a drummer, yada, yada, yada. But when you have like a 60-piece orchestra with like a timpani and a conductor, what's he doing? It was very foreign and intimidating to me until I started to study it more in high school and in college at Capital University. Shout out to Capital University. And peel back the layers to this onion and realize like, and this is a challenge that I would have anybody do like me who's interested in classical music but doesn't really understand it. Just go and listen to a classical song and try to find the melody. Just try to sing or hum the melody. And I guarantee you that your experience with that song, you'll be able to understand it more.
Yeah. That's great advice. It's interesting that you kind of started off with, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye and all that, the stuff that you're really into, and then went back to classical, essentially.
Yeah, just treat it like a song. Like, treat the classical piece. See, they even call it a piece. That's different.
Yeah.
Like, this piece. Treat it like a song, like a Stevie Wonder song or whatever today, Lil Uzi Vert song. Try to find the melody out of all of the layers of stuff that they have going on and then you'll be like, oh, that's just this. That's just a little melody. And so that would be a challenge. I challenge you right now for that, for whoever's watching this later.
I'll say not me, I hope.
You too, Jesse. You too. Yeah.
No, that's great advice. And so, with that, you teach as well. So that kind of segues right into that.
So a lot of people know me as a performer. I've introduced you to me that way, but I also teach. I just came from Reynoldsburg City Schools, where I teach at 2 schools. I taught orchestra. I've taught general music. I've taught middle school for 11 years, and I used to teach at a charter school. I used to teach in Columbus City schools for some after-school programs. But I also am the founder and director of Columbus Cultural Orchestra, which was founded in 2020, and we focus on advancing a collective of musicians who play non-traditional classical music on the orchestral instruments. So if you're like me and you play the violin or the viola or the cello or the trumpet or the bassoon or whatever, but you love hip hop and you love pop music, which the majority of kids in the world today do. There's a huge hip hop following here in Europe and Japan, especially in Japan. But you play the bassoon, you can still play that music on your instrument. And so Columbus Cultural Orchestra is where I teach. I teach in schools. And basically what I tell musicians is, number one, you have to play your story. Meaning that whatever is true to you, whatever you grew up listening to, if you like Drake, if you like Ariana Grande, you should play that. Yeah, you should learn the classics and the classical songs because those fundamentals and those rudiments are important. But you should also play what you love to play. And number two, you should be an entrepreneur and monetizing what you do. Because like you just told me before, I don't even know if we're recording it or not, but you were working for other people until you realized that you had an experience that you could share as a gift to make an impact that was unique. And so if you can take what you learned today, these kids, they don't use cash. Everything is on Cash App or Venmo. Everything is monetized on Instagram and websites. And they just know, all right, I'm about to plug in my card and I'm about to swipe that joint. So if you can take what you do, your passion, and monetize it online, because we live online today with our economy and because of technology, and look at this studio, look how people and kids are growing up. They have opportunities and access to all of this technology that, unfortunately, for a lot of black and brown kids, they don't even know that it exists. But those days are gone. And the new day is that you can get online, you can press record. If you have a talent, you can expose that talent. And you can say, hey, if you like what I did, if this resonates with you, pay me, cut the check for it.
Right.
And, coming out of college, I have all this student loan debt. And there's all these kids with these student loan debt. And their 9-to-5 job is not enough for it. And so why not have a side business or a side hustle and make it into your main hustle where you're doing what you love? You may still have your 9-to-5, but you're monetizing what you love to do.
And that, cheers to that, by the way.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Yeah, for sure. Are those all principles that you try to include in your teachings to the kids, and then with the organization that you founded as well?
That's my programming. So with Columbus Cultural Orchestra, we pay all our musicians, no matter what. No matter if they're in high school, 9th grade, and they're getting $25 for a performance.
That's awesome, though.
They're getting paid. Yeah. We want them to know that associating music with getting paid is a thing. And gone are the days of the starving artists. And so we just did a recording with Falgren Morton in Columbus City Schools for their video campaign. We did hip-hop orchestra music for them. And I'll talk a little bit about hip hop orchestra and this classical crossover genre in a little bit, but they all got paid at least $100, and most of the musicians were in high school, and most of them were black. But this goes for anybody. I don't care what color you are. Excuse me. So, but even with my day job teaching in Reynoldsburg City Schools, shoot, I think I have some in my pocket. I print off these fake music bucks or whatever. They're green. They're called music bucks, and they get these music bucks for doing stuff, following expectations in my class. So they're learning how money works even in middle school, whether it's answering a question in class or recording a song or recording like right now our project we're making podcasts and we're recording. You can either be a rapper, a singer, or create a podcast, and you get paid based upon the requirements and expectations you meet for that podcast or that rap song or that song. And you know, when you get 5 of these music bucks, you get to cash out with a piece of candy out of the music bucket or whatever. You know, it's middle school. So,
I love that.
But they
get
get paid candy when they accumulate enough of these music bucks. And you know, we're doing math. They have $20. And I'm like, do you want change? They're like, yeah, I want 3 pieces of candy. So, you know, give me back 5. So those are just little ways that we have to, you know, kids talk money now. Like I said earlier, they know.
Yeah.
They know. Like kids today, they're like, I can do this. I don't have to work at a factory or whatever, you know. Here's my Cash App. Like kids be telling me their Cash App on their birthday. I'm like, well, first of all, you gave me your Cash App. I'm gonna wish you a happy birthday or whatever. That's about it. But they're getting like for gifts. They're like parents and their relatives are like sending them Cash App, and you know they're investing in Bitcoin or whatever these days. So
it's so funny you say that because I have 3 nephews, and
they're buying sneakers and
man,
selling them, reselling them.
It's crazy. And my nephews are like, you know, they're like hoarding their money. You know what I mean? And like trying to buy big things. So I'm talking about doing this like book project with them. I'm gonna have my 3 nephews illustrate this little kids book that I'm writing, and I'm gonna give them each 25% of the profits coming through. And they're like spending all this time. The little wheels are spinning in their head trying to figure out how much money they're gonna make.
See?
Like so. So like, Uncle Jesse, how much did your last book sell? And if this one sells this much, that means I get this much money, you know, and they're 7, 9, and 11.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
So I see what you're talking about. But that's a great like precedent to set, really getting the kids used to the financial aspect of things. And I see so often with so many of my artist friends, whether they're musicians, whether they're painters, whether they're screen printers, whatever it may be, people expect things for free, for exposure.
He's shouting at you.
Yeah,
man.
it's, you know, whether they're studio owners, you know what I mean? And it's just, if somebody wants to do something, they'll reach out and offer that.
Right.
You know, to come to like photographers, wedding photographers, whatever it may be, you know, you do it for exposure. Well, you should be paid for your art.
Absolutely.
And I love that you're instilling that on the kids at such a young age. I think that's crucial to know one's self-worth.
Yes.
Right. And you know, you start off with a side hustle, and then maybe you can turn that passion into like, you know, the full-blown career.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a beautiful thing.
And it all started with my dad, who, when I was in high school, I played the bass. My twin brother, played the drums, and my dad played the jazz piano. And he would take us around to different nursing homes, and we would perform for like senior citizens after school, and we would get $75 per gig. And like, yo, I thought that was a lot of money. I'm like, $75 to play music? Because it wasn't just about the money. He was showing us, hey, if you be kind to people, if you have favor with people, if you give people an experience, we were like playing like oldie jazz songs that the senior citizens was taking them back, and they were loving it.
Yeah.
And you sell it right, then you know you'll have favor with people, and they'll actually pay you for your services. And so I wasn't all. I was happy about the money to buy my little sneakers or candy at the corner store or whatever, but I was watching how he interacted with the person at the desk, how he called the lady at the nursing home, how he, negotiated the price, and to this day, I still live off what he showed me.
That's a beautiful thing. And then you're passing that on to the next generation,
Yep.
right?
Passing it on to CCO, passing it on to anybody who's willing to learn.
So what's the ultimate goal for the CCO? So
So,
where do you see that going in the future?
right. So my big audacious goal is a brick and mortar academy or school where students, orchestral musicians can learn not only classical but pop, hip hop, R&B, contemporary music styles as well. So they'll have lessons, there'll be a performance space, a concert area where they can perform, and they'll also get opportunities for entrepreneurial exposure.
Hmm.
Like we'll come to a studio like this and we'll do like a internship day where they try to learn how to work the video and mics. Or we'll have some studios set up where they can podcast and talk about the music that they're about to play or perform and hype up their concert. But we're putting the music and the entrepreneur piece together. We're giving them a space to perfect their craft and learn their craft. And we're also educating parents and their families on the importance of music education today. Because music education has to reflect our society. So my goal is for Columbus and our nation to for our orchestra schools to reflect our society. Right now, African Americans only make up 2% of the professional orchestras. Musicians are only 2%. Yeah.
2%.
1.8 actually. I just rounded up.
Jeez.
And we're growing, but not at a fast enough rate. And that's because, number one, there's not enough diversity in terms of teachers in our schools that's making students feel like they belong in those orchestra classrooms. There's a lot of teachers who want to make students feel involved, but they don't know where to start. And so I've started a teacher's course to teach orchestra teachers how to arrange a hip hop song, how to improvise, to play jazz or blues, how to have a creative mindset to say, hey, this kid wants to rap or sing behind the orchestra while they play an Ariana Grande song. Make it happen.
Yeah.
And then educating the families on, why should I put my kid in orchestra or band instead of football or basketball or soccer? That's the biggest fight, and it's hard, Jesse. Like, CCO. To be honest, we had around 40 musicians last year, but this year we're like 25, and the numbers are hard to get because we're battling up against sports, and parents, they just are not committed. They don't know the importance of having their kids in the arts versus when my cousin did sports, my family did sports, everybody did sports. So
You fall into what you know,
you fall into what you know,
and it's easy.
and it's easy.
Yeah.
But then they say they can't afford music lessons. Well, you just bought thousands of dollars in AAU equipment,
Right.
and you just pay all the hotel fees to travel for the whole summer for AAU.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of money. It's just a matter of mindset and priorities.
That's interesting. So, what are you doing to create that awareness that what your program is a viable option with a real future? So, how do you combat that?
So the biggest way to do that is the music to be good. And that's what I was talking about earlier with the hip hop orchestra sound.
Right.
I've created a hip hop orchestra sound where we play with tracks, where I've mixed some 808s for all my musicians out there and some drum patterns with some strings. I've composed my own music for students to play to where you're getting a good quality sound of music um, that sounds like hip hop, but that also has this classical crossover. So the music has to be good. That's the first thing. You got to be able to play, and you got to be able to play well. But the biggest part, and if you come to our show, shout out, I want to plug that real quick. October 21st, Columbus Cultural Orchestra has a show at the McConnell Arts Center. It's at 7 p.m. It's a night of 90s R&B.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, 90s R&B. We got singers, we got a drummer, we got strings, and we have a keyboard player.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be an experience.
What day again?
It's October 21st at the McConnell Arts Center.
All right, cool. Is that a Saturday? Saturday?
That's a Friday.
Friday. Right,
Yeah,
cool.
it's a Friday.
Cool.
Yeah, tickets are like $10 for students, $20 for adults. But if you see all of that together, and you're not just like sitting down watching an orchestra perform with crickets and quiet and like, oh my gosh, but you're actually engaged with the music. Sometimes you're clapping. Sometimes we're improvising, where there's a part of each of our shows where we just make it up.
I love it.
Like, I tell them, like, this is literally the part where we just make it up. And you'll see string musicians just improvising over a beat. Because that's a part of Black and brown culture, is this freestyling element where you just have a certain scale that you use and you freestyle within that scale. But that's the freedom of expression component to it. And the second thing that we're doing is we have workshops, 4 workshops this year for parents to get involved with. And they're not just open to the program's parents, any parents that wants to be involved. You can just go on ccomusic.org. These workshops are called "You're a Musician, Now What?" Right? You're a freelance videographer, now what? You know, you're a decorated or an awarded bartender, now what? You know, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna work at different restaurants bartending, or you're gonna start your own private tasting company.
Yeah.
And so
I love that.
right. And so we're teaching the parents and the families, not the kids. The parents and the families are the ones who need to say, hey, you know, you could take that violin, you could start a wedding business, right? Here's how you do it. And so those are the ways. And the last way is motivating and inspiring teachers. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of teachers who are in these school systems who are stuck in the past. And they just want to teach their kids like Ode to Joy. And when the kid acts out and doesn't like it, when the kid's like, yo, this is not really like my vibe, then they quit. And I'm trying to tell the teachers, well, why don't you ask them what they like to listen to? Arrange it, compose it, draw it, like write it out. Literally, like write it out on music so that they can learn it and play it at the concert. And make them feel comfortable and make it seem like it's an appropriate thing to do. When the Columbus Symphony had Common come out a couple summers ago, it sold out. When they had Nelly come out for the summer that one time, it sold out. And it's not a diss to the Columbus Symphony, but they're having problems with their attendance.
It makes it cool.
It makes it cool
to get Common or Nelly. You know what I mean? And you're reaching people. Like, I would go to that without a doubt. I wouldn't necessarily just think to go to see the Columbus Symphony, but Common's coming out.
See,
like, so that's you're reaching people that, like, you know, not that I'm a young man anymore, but a younger crowd. You know what I mean? Which I think is really cool.
Yeah, we have new ideas, we have new energy, and we have new innovation. And so let the young people express themselves and their new ideas.
I mean, that's amazing, man. Like, what you're doing is just beautiful work, and really, you know, like unique the way you're relating to not just the kids, but also putting things into perspective about what they can do and where they can go with it. Teaching them the financial end of things, teaching them how they can, make sure that they get paid for their art, right? How they can, like you said, monetize their art, and you can do this at a wedding, you can do this at a performance, and all these ideas that maybe people don't think about, so
They're gonna do it no matter what.
yeah.
It's just like, are you gonna choose to do it on the violin, like what I
Yeah.
play? They're gonna do it, and they're gonna say, oh yeah, I'm about to buy these sneakers, I'm about to resell them, and I'm about to live off Instagram, or I'm about to, whatever's cool, I'm about to do. You see people getting paid in college now for playing sports. I'm gonna get paid no matter what. But are we gonna make classical music cool enough to be like the new superstars, like the athletes, like the people wearing the sneakers, So that's what I'm trying to do.
I love it. For those just joining us, I'm sitting here with Stephen Spottswood, aka Stephen Stringz.
Yes, sir.
The man is the real deal. I've seen him perform multiple times, and if there's anybody that should be in a position to be teaching the next generation, it's you, because you know your stuff, man, and you're talking about all these great ideas that I hadn't even considered myself. So, like, you are the right man for the job. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers to
my
you.
drink is
Oh,
gone,
we might have to take a
this
little
is
break
so
and get you
good.
another one. What we're drinking, by the way. Hey. So
It is fantastic.
thank you. Yeah, we got the crew back there enjoying some as well. Per Steven's request, he wanted to do some cocktails with something rum based.
I did.
So we've got it's a beautiful aged rum, Pipe Dream rum from 451 Spirits, my good friend Chad Kessler here in Columbus, Ohio. It's an aged rum. I've got some dark brown sugar, simple syrup, and we both have some black walnut bitters. So it's kind of a rum old fashioned riff, and they got the cheap IKEA glasses back there. Me and you, we got the nice fancy glasses here with the gold.
Hey, you got to do them like that. But they got it though. It's still good though.
We need
Vessel
to.
doesn't matter to me.
The vessel doesn't matter.
We needed to get you another one. Should we take a break? You guys want to chit chat for a minute? Keep it going. We'll get you another one for sure.
All right.
You're gonna perform for us here in a little bit. And before you do that, I'll make sure I get you a refill.
All right.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about, how you kind of got started. Your father was a huge part of that, and you have a twin brother.
Yeah.
And he's also a musician.
Musician, plays jazz piano.
Yeah.
Went to Capitol for music tech. That's actually how I got to Columbus. So we're from the D.C. area, Maryland, to be specific, in Silver Spring. And I went to Catholic University of America my freshman year. It didn't work out. So I ended up following my twin brother here to Capitol University. He was in music tech. I studied music education. And then he graduated, moved back, and I ended up staying, getting married, and getting a job, and just liking the Columbus vibe.
Yeah.
So
very cool. Very cool. So you're doing all this amazing work.
yeah.
You're inspiring the next generation.
Yep.
What inspires you?
What inspires me is great music. At the end of the day, I still cry when I watch movies that are inspirational, that have like these dramatic like orchestra scores in the back that just pull at the strings of my heart. The last one was King Richard on a plane. I was coming back from San Francisco. And that movie about Serena Venus and their dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, people on the plane looking at me like I was crazy. I was just crying through the whole thing. But when music gets to a certain level, past the beginning in the intermediate stages to the advanced stage, where it can actually bring you to tears, or bring you to joy, or bring an emotion out of you, or make you think of a memory, when it can do that, that's really like the end goal for me when it comes to performing. And also, the community aspect of it. It brings us together. We're in the same industry with spirits, and I'm a man of faith, and so music and being in a part of a community where we can gather together and have a good time and eat and converse, disagree, agree, whatever, no matter what, throw some food on the barbecue, and just do life together. That is the goal when I do these experiences or when we have a concert. Because when I have my CCO concerts, I don't want the same of everybody to be there, and that goes back to um, classical music and how I think it can grow. We can't just have the same demographic population coming over and over to the concerts. I would like to see a young dude with grills in his mouth and gold in his teeth and his pants sagging at the classical concert to a white older lady, from Coshocton or wherever coming to the concert. Like, we need to have diversity in our audiences because we need to have a little bit of disagreement in order to have that change. So let's get together, let's talk about where we come from, and let's move forward where we're reconciling our differences together to create a better world.
You see music as, a healing opportunity.
It's the universal language.
Yeah.
It's healing.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people know me as Stephen Stringz, the performer, and I'll be honest, raising money for a nonprofit is not easy. And gone are the days where you raise money off of pity. And so nobody's about to look at, I tell people, don't give us money out of pity or whatever. Oh, these little black kids performing, it's so nice. Nah. We want you to support us with your time and your money. Number one, because the music is of the highest quality. But number two, because you believe in the vision. And like I said, most people don't donate because of the program or the nonprofit. They support me. And I had to come to that realization just recently that they're supporting Stephen Spottswood or Stephen Stringz because they're seeing that I had a story to tell. And like you said, I wanted to give that back to a younger generation. And so they're like, we rock with Stephen. So if anybody listening out there that's younger than me or older than me who wants to start a nonprofit or start a business, you need to realize that it really starts with you. And people at the beginning are going to support, even at the end, actually, they're going to support and donate because they believe in you. And so it's your story to tell. And it's not a matter of, oh, I'm being prideful or I'm being like the spotlight of attention. It's not like that. It's just a matter of we trust you enough with what we're giving and donating. We trust you because you've exhibited.
And you've built up that audience.
Right.
You've built the relationships with people.
Right.
So it's only natural that, that would be, the extension of the relationship, at least to start,
Yes.
because of you. And then continue to support with money, time, showing up because, to your point, the music is of the highest caliber and they believe in what you're doing. They believe in the kids. They believe in all of that. But, I think it's only natural that, at least in the beginning, it's because of their faith in you, for sure.
Yep. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I had to learn that.
Yeah. That's good.
Right,
That's
what
good
you just
advice,
said.
though. That's good advice. I want to go back just a moment. You're talking about some of the scores that really move you in different films. What are some of, you mentioned King Richard. What are some of the other ones that have been really impactful for you over the years? Whether it's old classics, new ones. Throw me
So I'm a
3 or
big
4 of
Spike
them.
Lee fan, and his dad did all his scores. He's a jazz guy, but shoot, like, what's it called? Black Hawk Down. That had me done.
Yeah.
Oh, I was done.
It's a tough watch too.
It's a tough watch. Like many war movies.
Yeah.
Like, war movies. Shoot. What else? I used to be a big film buff.
So you
Even The Godfather.
man, I tell you what.
Godfather.
I gotta say, it's low hanging fruit, but this past year, for my kid's birthday, we took him in May to see The Empire Strikes Back, played with the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, playing the actual score along with the film. And it was absolutely incredible.
It sounds amazing.
So
yeah, maybe a little hanging fruit, but who cares?
Having, like being in the room with the orchestra, where you can like feel the
telling you,
the
dude.
bass,
Yeah,
and it's just
the vibrations of it.
Yeah, it's so amazing, and like, and that soundtrack is so iconic and influenced. So
it really is.
Yeah,
And it's funny though that you say Godfather, because I don't have a ton of score. Like, I have a bunch of records.
Yeah.
A lot of soundtracks. I don't have a ton of scores, but I have The Godfather. And the other day I was driving home from an event and some classical music was on the radio, and I was like, I want to listen to that. It's really cool and chill, and it's like mellowing me out.
Yeah.
And then I said to myself, I want to listen to Godfather. So that's the score to that. So I started streaming that, and I love that. It's really relaxing, but also kind of hauntingly beautiful. If that makes sense. I love that. So
because that's how our life is, man. Like,
yeah,
we be going through some stuff, some real life stuff.
I hope my life isn't too similar to The Godfather.
Well,
though.
yeah, not
not to that one anyway.
Didn't end well for some of those guys.
Yeah,
I'm having fun though. But you're absolutely right. It's ups and downs, peaks and valleys, right? And,
that's right.
Music is always there. I'm a big believer that music can take me back to a place, like a memory, a time in my life, and maybe something I wasn't even aware of. But it takes you there, and like whether it's a memory, you're 5 years old, whether you're 21 years old, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you're on a date with a girl, you're at the prom or whatever, and when you get married or whatever it may be, it's it's a beautiful thing.
It's God's gift to us.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, man, this has been great talking with you, kind of getting to know your story and what your mission is with what you're doing. I know you're going to be so kind as to perform a couple songs for us. Before you do that, if you want to tell everybody watching where they can find you, where they can find your organization, and then plug your upcoming show one more time, because this will be up before that happens.
So you definitely want to go to ccomusic.org. That's the website for Columbus Cultural Orchestra. CCO_Ohio is where you'll find us on Instagram. My Instagram, my personal one, is Stephen Stringz with the Z at the end. And Stephen is spelled like Stephen Curry. And we have, that's my website too, by the way. But we have our next performance coming up at the McConnell Arts Center in Worthington. That's going to be October 21st at 7 p.m. It's a 90s hip hop meets symphony night. And it's going to be great. Strings, orchestra, vocals, keyboard, drums. And it's going to be $20 tickets for adults and $10 tickets for students. And so, again, that's October 21st. You can purchase tickets on McConnellarts.org, or you can go on ccomusic.org and get your tickets.
All right. And guys, check out his stuff. Follow him on Insta. Check out, his organization that he's founded, and try to support it if you can, and make it out to the show. I think I'm going to try to be there myself. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Respect. So, Stephen Spottswood, thank you for being here, my man. I'm looking forward to catching a couple songs here in a second. So let's get that going, shall we?
We shall.
All right.
Salute.
Get you a refill too.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna hold it up right here.
All right, Avery, let's pause there for a second, please. All right, and Stephen, if you wouldn't mind standing in front here so I can just frame up cameras.
Sure.
Boxland Media. Think big. Boxland Media. Think big.